What's up again, everybody? So before we start this combo video, I have a few announcements to make. First off, this month marks the 2-year anniversary of this channel. Up until this point, I've produced 198 videos that have been viewed 87,000 times for a total of over 630,000 minutes. That is staggering to me, and I just want to say thank you to you for choosing to watch this video and any of the others you've watched over the years. This channel has become one of my favorite hobbies, and I look forward to continuing to make things that you all enjoy. Next up, my wonderful wife just got a new wonderful job, so in a few weeks I will be moving to the Dallas area. So this means that I might be a bit preoccupied with packing, moving, and setting up the new place. So if I don't upload a few videos a week, then don't think that I am gone for good. But it also means that I'll be around a bunch of really cool board game stores and several very strong Dice Masters communities, so I'd expect more gameplay videos from me in the future. Oh, also, the WizKids US Nationals was like 2 weeks ago, and the US has a new Dice Masters champ, so congratulations to Junior. I am working on a meta-analysis of the top 16 of that tournament and hope to get that out as soon as possible. And if you want spoilers as to what we'll be talking about, just hear 3 words. Common Kate Bishop. Anyway, on to the video. So this combo begins with a selection of a single card, and that card is Angel carrying the team, the uncommon Angel from the X-Men First Class set. It is a 3-cost shield character with that X-Men affiliation and 022-133-144 stat line, and his ability says while Angel is active, when you purchase a character die, you may spin all fielded copies of that character die up to level 3. I thought this was an interesting ability that worked really well with Awaken characters, so I looked through the Awaken characters list and came away with 2 characters that I really liked and liked the idea of spinning up to level 3. Common Jubilee and Uncommon Sunfire. So obviously Common Jubilee is a pretty good purchase and spin up character because she's got a 4/3 on top, she's a 2-drop, and she deals damage to your opponent's board, so pinging out sidekicks so that they don't have extra blockers is great. Sunfire is a pretty good topside 6/4 on a 4-drop, and giving all of your character dice +1/+1 when he spins up 1 or more levels is also pretty strong. Trigger both of them on the same turn, and you're dealing 1 to your opponent's board, taking out some sidekicks, and buffing all of your own sidekicks and other attacking characters by +1/+1. Even cooler if we combine all 3 of these cards together and have something like 2 Jubilees in the field and 2 Sunfires in the field. Purchasing either of those dice would spin all iterations of that die up to level 3 in the field. So if we spun up 2 Jubilees to level 3, all of a sudden you have 2 4/3s that deal 2 damage to your opponent's board. And if we purchase 2 Sunfires, all of a sudden we have 2 6/4s that have just buffed all of your board for +2/+2. Now, unfortunately, we can't do that very many times because obviously you can only run 4 dice of Jubilee and 4 dice of Sunfire, so you would need 2 of those dice to already be out in the field and purchased, and then at that point you would be able to buy like 1 or 2 more and trigger this a few times, but we can build around that. This is where things get a little bit wacky. We're going to throw on the common Doppelganger, Lesser Monstrosity from the Tomb of Annihilation set, a 3-drop mask character. It's a monster, but that doesn't matter too much. The stat line also doesn't matter too much because he's going to copy something as per his ability. His ability says, when fielded, you may select a target character die you control. If you do, your Doppelganger character dice become copies of that target character die. This copy has all of the names, subtitles, affiliations, abilities, and stats of the original in place of its own. They remain copies until another character die is selected or you no longer have any active Doppelganger character dice. So as I said, the inclusion of this card opens up a ton of possibilities. On a very base level, you can field this, copy something like Jubilee, and have a 4/3 when it spins up, it deals 1 damage along with Jubilee. Similarly, when you field this, you could copy Sunfire, and then when Sunfire is purchased, you'd spin up these Doppelganger character dice, and they would also give all of your character dice +1/+1. You could also do some crazy things in combination. Say you have 2 of these sitting in your field zone, you field 1 and copy Jubilee, then you purchase a Jubilee, and then spin your Doppelganger and Jubilee dice all up, triggering their effects and dealing a bunch of damage. Then you could field the second one and copy Sunfire, purchase a Sunfire, and do the exact same thing, spinning up your Sunfire and now Doppelganger dice. Obviously, the one you fielded first is already on its level 3, so it doesn't really matter. But assuming the Doppelganger that you fielded is on a level 1 or a 2 side, then that one gets to spin up alongside Sunfire and give all of your board +2 or +3 or whatever you have in the field. And then on top of all of that, you could even field a Doppelganger, copy a Jubilee, and then purchase Doppelganger if you're out out of Jubilee dice to trigger the spin up for Jubilee. Now I could see someone making the argument that because I didn't purchase that character die's actual physical die, then it doesn't actually trigger, but based on the card text itself, it says spin all fielded copies of that character up to level 3, and not referring to looking for a specific type of die that's being purchased to what's on the field, kind of like what Swarm does. This does not appear to be the same thing based on that wording, but you know, WizKids could say, oh, just kidding, it's actually supposed to be the way that Swarm works. And if that's the case, then this, portion doesn't actually work, but the other portions that I mentioned do, the other little strategies do. Nevertheless, that's how I would play it and how I would rule it because of the wording of the card and because of the guide on copying that we've been given. And so based on that, you could actually field one of these, copy Sunfire, and then buy quote-unquote Sunfire dice, actually doppelganger dice, for 3 instead of 4, which is pretty cool, making it a little cheaper to get Sunfire as well as trigger Sunfire's spin up when Angel is out. So to sum all of this up, the point and the goal of this team is to get Angel out, to get Jubilee and Sunfire out, to purchase a bunch of Jubilees and Sunfires, triggering their spin ups, have a bunch of other stuff in the field like sidekicks, and then push with everything after it's all been buffed up thanks to the nice Awaken effect on Sunfire into a board that's been removed of small blockers thanks to the Jubilee spin up effect. Speaking of sidekicks, we need a nice form of ramp that also gives us bodies in the field, so let's go ahead and throw Mimic and Professor X on this team. Mimic will copy the printed attack and defense of a sidekick, and then every time we use the Professor X global to pull a sidekick onto the field from our used pile, we're also prepping 2 dice, and it's giving us bodies in the field that will get buffed by Sunfire's effect. Continuing to sell out on the sidekick fielding aspect of this team, let's go ahead and throw on Billy Club. It acts as a form of removal if you purchase it, but mainly it's there for the global that says pay 0 once per turn, spin one of your sidekicks to the mask face, because we can use this in conjunction with Professor X Global and Mimic to ramp a bunch of dice. And for the last slot on our team before basic actions, I actually went back and forth on 2 different versions of the Blackbird. The version I chose is the common version, and it's the Blackbird that says your opponent must pay 1 energy to block each of your X-Men character dice until the end of the turn. So on top of clearing their board of small blockers like sidekicks, you're also making it incredibly difficult to even just block your things because they now have to save all of their energy or a bunch of their energy just to pay to block each of your attacking character dice. And the X-Men character dice are most likely the ones that they want to block because you're looking at like a 5 attack Jubilee if you're getting a +1/+1 buff, and a 7 attack Sunfire if you're getting that same buff. And even Angel's no slouch. Getting a +1/+1 buff means you're looking at a 4/5. As for our basic actions, we have Mutation for the global that says pay a mask, again nice combination with the Billy Club, and spin down one of your character dice to spin up another character die. So this is another way to trigger Jubilee and Sunfire when you've already purchased all of their character dice, or if Angel is removed or doesn't roll for you. And of course the final basic action slot for me is Resurrection for the Resurrection Global, which is one of my favorite effects in the game. Yes, we already have some really strong ramp in the form of Mimic and Professor X, but Resurrection is really good bag control, especially in the early turns of the game. So this is one iteration of this team that I came up with. There are a couple of other pieces that you could swap in or out based on how competitive or how fun or how thematic you want it to be. Some things that come to mind include swapping out Resurrection and instead putting on Big Entrance to give you an even bigger discount on your X-Men purchases. You could swap out the common Blackbird and put the rare Blackbird on, which sort of acts like Big Entrance itself, giving you a discount on fielding and purchasing whenever you play the action. You could drop any of these characters and instead swap in Storm Morlock Champion, which is the rare Storm from the X-Men First Class set that has that really nice control Awaken ability where you re-roll a target opposing character die. You could even throw the Awaken dupe on here somewhere to pull characters out of the field zone and stop control pieces from taking place and stopping your plan. And of course there's the obvious Shriek play. Throw Shriek on this team and it automatically becomes a little bit better. So let me know what you think of this team, and let me know what you think you would change and how you would tailor make it to your own play style. Would you go more control-y? Would you put more aggro pieces on here? Would you remove the type of ramp that I put on and put something else in its place? Leave me a comment below and let me know. As always, thanks for watching.